Hello everyone, this is Carl Don Stover. I'm working on my Module 8 for EDL 851. If I sound a little sick, that's because I am. Just glad I have a voice. It came back good enough so I can get this one done, hopefully. We have quite a few things that we need to cover, and one of the first things we're going to do is just summarize some of the articles that wasn't a required reading. First one is going to be the Education Week article. Some of the things I'm going to cover is why teacher evaluation is an issue, the past method, the present method, how the teachers' unions have reacted, and is it working. If we start looking in this article, it says that top performing teachers actually help students gain more information and more knowledge throughout their grade, while the worst teachers actually, their students only got half a year of learning. So one of the reasons it's a big issue is that a lot of advocates want a quality control system. They want to make sure that they are trying to keep effective teachers in to be a part of their schools and help their students. Another thing that advocates are wanting to do is they're wanting to find opportunities to help strengthen the profession. They want to do some changes, like some revamps of teacher evaluations that will help teachers have more strengths and weaknesses evaluated and really learn from their mistakes or areas of just weaknesses in their classrooms. Policymakers are concerned about the lower end of the teacher scale. They want to make sure that we can find those poor teachers, those bad teachers, and actually get them removed quickly and efficiently so we don't do too much damage to our student population while still treating them fairly and equitably. As we move on, we've seen teacher evaluation change a lot in the last 10 to 15 years especially. We have seen it going from just kind of a hands-off procedure into a new evaluation system where there's a lot more factors that are put into play. These new systems are very complex. In the past, it was just like a checkbox system, where present method, it's a lot more complexity. We look at periodically going in and observing those teachers. We're looking at adding in testing. We're looking at who actually does the observations, whether it should be administrator, lead teachers, principals, so on and so forth. One of the models that has been put into place is a value-added model. This is where we can actually maybe take some bias out of our evaluations and really evaluate how much the student and teacher relationship is working to contribute to students actually gaining knowledge. Some of the problems that the U.S. Department of Education has with a lot of our evaluation systems is the fact that there is a lot of random error, so things that could go poorly. Okay. As we look at, the teachers' unions' reactions, we can actually see that a lot of teachers' unions actually think it's an attack on educators, attack on what they're trying to do in their classrooms, because a lot of lawmakers have been just taking back bargaining tokens, tenures, dues, fee arrangements, so on and so forth. But the overall evidence is that it's maybe kind of inconclusive on how much it's actually helping students. but teachers are getting some high quality feedback to help them as they go. Um, these just new systems are going to take a lot of just tweaking and figuring them out, seeing what works, what doesn't, but we want to try to avoid them being counterproductive or separating people out into different divisions. Let's go ahead and jump to the teacher evaluation guide. One area that I really liked in the teacher evaluation guide was the 6 key principles. I'll actually read them off to you here. One is a safe and open collaboration is necessary. I should say that the NEA has identified these 6 principles to start a teacher evaluation program at your school and what that should look like. So 1 is a safe and open collaboration is necessary. Teachers need to be transparent. However, the administrators also need to be the same way. Number 2, we need to have a measure of teacher performance that is the most helpful and meaningful when they're based on multiple ratings and clear teaching standards. So we need to have actually big points, like this is what you should be accomplishing. We need to have positive and constructive feedback to those. We need to have summative evaluations that isn't just based on one thing, but multiple looks at that teacher. And on that, if you're being inconsistent or you're consistently not able to meet all the expectations, you won't be in your classroom any longer. 3, the evaluation systems must be integrated. We need to have actually professional standards for these. We need to have professional development on this. We need to help teachers who are maybe struggling in areas. 4, evaluation measures are essential. Okay. We need to look at all teaching behaviors and styles. We need to look that every different teacher is going to have a different method of getting their information across. Okay. 5, teachers' input into determining performance and learning outcomes should be part of the evaluation process. So teachers need to have a say too. They need to have some input on what these evaluation procedures look like, how it's going to work in their classroom. 6, the assessment and evaluation systems need to be jointly created or designed with a local teacher association involvement. Thus, your local teachers union needs to be involved in this. They need to have a say, and it needs to be an open door so that we can talk about things and so it doesn't end up being like a lawsuit issue. There are a lot of different evaluation models that this one goes over. We can really dig in to some of them, but a lot of these could be like a growth model kind of outlook. Some of these are going to be where we're looking at changing of student learning over a period of time. We're going to look at that teachers' contributions. A lot of like the growth models can look at comparisons between teacher to teacher, and a lot of times it's more understandable by a lot of stakeholders. On growth models, sometimes it's hard to control all the students' situations and backgrounds. There can be maybe some bias, some cheating involved with that, setting yourself up for success, and then maybe some collaboration as well. Piloting these new models can be difficult. I think some of the questions that I found that this article talked about that you should ask as a leader in your school is, how long will the pilot last? What criteria must schools meet to qualify? Are there any conflicts between evaluation tools and the bargaining agreement between your teachers union? Who's going to train the teachers, administrators, and everybody involved in the new evaluation tools? Who's going to serve as your evaluators? How are they going to be trained? When are they going to be trained? And how are you going to collect your data and measure that data? I think this is all just important things, because in practice, we want that evaluation system to match up with what we're doing at the district, at the state level, but we also want to be fair to people in our buildings. Okay. Our next one is the teacher evaluation measures and systems, and how can they improve teaching and learning. Okay. This was a pretty large article, in my opinion. We've got a lot of different teacher evaluation systems that can be used. Some of them, here just kind of listing them off, is the TAP program, Teacher Advancement Program, Framework for Teaching, Professional Compensation System, Peer Assessment and Review, and Beginning Educator Support and Training Program. These all have are unique in their own sake, but they have a lot of common elements to them. Some of the features that they kind of take into consideration is creating linked and integrated systems. They want to align all the evaluation processes with actually what's going on in the school. An example is the TAP program, which integrates 4 key elements: multiple career paths, ongoing applied professional growth, instructionally focused accountability, and performance-based compensation. Second feature is evaluation measures. We want our data to be correct and supported. We want to be using portfolios with proper lesson plans, how to teach, examples of what the students are supposed to be doing. These portfolios and some of these systems can actually be evaluated by others. One of the third features is establishing credibility, and that actually works with everybody involved. They have to design, develop, and revise the system. There's a lot of opportunities for people to talk, to work on trust and team building in these, and that's something you have to have for this to take place. Otherwise, this system won't work. Some of the different evaluation instruments you can do is scoring and training. Scoring out teachers on a rubric-based system. We need to make sure that our rubrics are fair and equitable, and that we have some sort of mastery put in place. We also have to make sure that we train people who are actually evaluating. Okay. We have to look at the interpretation behind some of these evaluation instruments, because everybody can interpret something a little bit different, depending on what your background experiences are. There is a lot of changes in the system. We want to see teachers be effective. That's kind of the push right now. So that's where a lot of the changes are kind of stemming from. We want to see that student achievement growth is measured with teacher performance, and that we have a play in that on teacher evaluation in this article. One system that they talk about is the impact system. This is an evaluation purpose. It groups teachers from an value-added model. It actually helps predict test scores from these. It comes from some observations in the classroom, also assessments, evaluation scores can all play into this. Okay. I guess one thing that we just really have to look at is that not just one method is going to work for every single school. It's going to have a lot of different places that we can go and be a part of, the systems, and it's just what works best for you. We just need to make sure that teachers are being effective, they're providing services and guidance to our students, and we want our teachers to actually get up to where they can be to allow our students to learn.